Welcome back to Whitt Acres. If you're a gardener like me, I'm sure you've already been down to your local garden center and picked out some plants from the clearance rack because they're practically giving away plants right now. I've been designing my pond out here, and part of the design is going to be different planting pockets. One pocket I want to try and get established is the succulent pocket. So I was looking at the clearance rack and I picked up a few succulents that I want to try and get started here on the pond. I have 5 succulents that I'm going to be planting here today. I think 4 of them aren't going to be frost hardy to my location here in zone 6A, but this one here, the Sempervivum, is going to be frost hardy, so hopefully this one can stay in the ground. But I am going to have to either dig them up and replant them or take some cuttings so I can keep them alive over winter. So I grabbed these off the clearance rack and they don't all have names. These ones are just succulents, and this one is a crassula, it says. Jade crassula, and it's supposed to be good down to 40 degrees, so it's definitely not going to survive my winters here, but I think they're going to look good here on the pond even as an annual, and if I have time I'll try and save them over winter. Now the area that I want to put them is going to need a little bit of cleanup before we get planting. I want to get this little succulent planting pocket right in here next to the cold frame and around the broken pot. I already have one Sempervivum inside that broken pot there doing well, but I need to get this whole cold frame all cleaned up. It's full of lettuce going to seed right now, and it needs all cleaned up, and I can throw that to the pigs. Then I'm going to get some of the other vines and weeds cleaned up out of there and get some shape to where I want to plant these succulents. So today's going to be a garden day. I've been working a lot on the barn and the homestead, working on a lot of the animals' enclosures and their pens, getting them all set up as they've been growing. But I also like having my gardens looking nice, so I've made this day a garden day, and I'm trying to work as much as I can on the gardens, doing some maintenance around and doing some planting so I can catch up to the hot weather. We've been having a lot of growth lately, so a lot's been changing. Some of the blooms are going out. I'm gonna have to go around and cut some of the gladiolas down, as well as harvest some of my onions, and I'm really late on harvesting my garlic. I'm not even sure if that's gonna be good anymore, but it's a hot one today, so I'm gonna get some of this done here in the sun and then take some breaks in the shade. Look at that geyser, gorgeous. All right, I got the cold frame cleaned out and all around that broken pot cleaned away. I still have a calla lily there and a volunteer gourd behind it, and then a little zinnia planted up there. I'm going to be planting around this log here and maybe even adding a few more elements to kind of tie this succulent pocket together. I'm going to be throwing all the vine in the compost, and then I'm throwing all the lettuce to the pigs. I think that periwinkle vine can be toxic to chickens, so I don't know how it works with pigs too. I'm just not going to risk it, and I know it's going to be good for the compost. Stick around to the end and we'll feed all the lettuce stalks to Wilbur and Charlotte. I need to run and do a familial obligation, and then I'll be back to do some planting. Those flies getting you, puppy. And try and find a rock that's gonna work. think I'm now ready to plant these succulents. I had to take a little break and hook up another sump pump because the sump pump that was running my geyser actually just failed. So I had to take a small break, hook up a different sump pump and get that running. Now I have some water flowing in this corner here. I don't want it to look like just a hose running into the pond, so I just tucked it between some rocks and made it look like a little secret falls coming out. But now that that's taken care of, I think I can get back to planting. It's just so hard to make a whole day about gardening. I have the succulents laid out here in a little arrangement that I think is gonna work. We have the sempervivum down here in the front corner, and then I put the one that's a little bit taller there to get some height behind that rock. I had to add this corner rock to give a little bit of grounding to this hill coming down. It kind of just flowed right down into the smaller gravel, and I wanted to put something with a little bit more weight in that corner to try and catch all the soil and the mulch that comes down the hillside. Beside those, underneath the log I found in the woods that looks really neat, and the broken pot I have tucked into the wall here, I put the little crassula, which I think is going to add a nice little color under there. And then we have this bright rose colored little succulent here that just has a nice little blossom to it. So I put that here because that's really going to draw your eye in. And then this one has a little bit more height I wanted to put in the back as more of a backdrop. But I did have to bring in some more soil and build that up so it looked a little bit more natural as a spot to plant. I also wanted to kind of frame in this area, and this spot really needed a larger rock. So I found a nice square rock and kind of set it into the bank there so it looked like it was always there. I do want more succulents to be in here, and these ones are going to grow as well. So I did add a little bit more space than I have plants for right now, but I think this whole area here would look nice with some succulents and cactuses. But I'm not real confident growing succulents and cactuses yet, so I'm starting out small with just a few of them, and we'll see how it goes. And then in the future I'll get more and more and keep expanding. But I think it's looking good already, so let's get these in the ground. We did it, puppy. Thanks for your help. And we got them all planted here, and I think we have a beautiful start to what's going to be the succulent garden pocket here on the pond. Like I said, some of these aren't going to survive the winter, but it would be nice to find some more succulents other than the sempervivum that's going to be able to survive my winters here in zone 6A. So if you know what succulents would be able to survive my winters, please leave them in the comments down below. I'd like to add some more succulents to this area, but I don't want to be adding them if they're just going to be dying off. I don't want them to have a ton of maintenance. I just want to be able to put them in here and have them do really well in this area. We're going to have a lot of changes over the years, but I think this is a cute little addition to the side of the pond here. And you're not going to be able to see it from the patio area, so you're actually going to have to come down into the pond area to appreciate this new little garden. That's going to be all for this one. I have a little bit of maintenance I have to go down into the vegetable garden to take care of. I want to check on my giant pumpkin as well. It's just getting started. But if you love nature, then subscribe down below and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, Mumbles, you can have some too. There you go, ducks. The rest is for you, Wilbur. And Charlotte. There you go. Pick through it. You're getting so big. Look at you piggies. Yeah, eat your greens, piggies. It's good for you. Good pigs. Good pigs. Here you go, Rita. You can have some. And chickens.